Good afternoon, it's Chris, and I wanted to give you guys a little update on the Chapter 10 lecture, Nutrients That Function as Antioxidants. And we hear a lot about antioxidants, and I want you to understand the process of oxidation and why that is something that we definitely don't want to happen in our body, but does naturally. But first, I want to start by reviewing what the nutrients are that function as antioxidants. They are the fat-soluble vitamin E, which is also called tocopherol, vitamin C, which is a water-soluble vitamin also called ascorbic acid. Vitamin A is unique in that it has both a water-soluble, a carotenoid form, and a fat-soluble form in the form of retinoid. Selenium is also an antioxidant. It's a mineral. And then we have talked a little bit in Chapter 1 about phytochemicals, things like anthocyanins and lycopene. Those are also function as antioxidants in the body. So what do those antioxidants do, and why are those antioxidants important? It has to do with the way that cells are set up, and it's good to know that there are positive and negative charges amongst the cells in the atoms. And so when the atoms bond together, they form the molecules. And when those molecules form and they have the gain of a negatively charged electron, that's actually called reduction. And when that happens where it's the loss of a negatively charged electron, that's called oxidation. And oxidation causes some health problems, so we want to try to minimize that oxidative process. So let me show you an example. So again, the oxidation here is when one of these, it's like this atom is searching to be balanced, and it transfers these negative electrons, and that is the oxidative process. So that oxidative process happens naturally in the body, and thus we have mechanisms to protect the cells from that process, and those mechanisms are the antioxidants. Because what happens is the free radicals form when that electron is not stable. So that stability causes a chain reaction, and the body does naturally try to repair those systems and destroy free radicals. So antioxidants, they actually take this free radical, which can cause the health damages, that's actively seeking another electron, and they actually donate one. So free radicals can be difficult because the immune system uses them to destroy disease-causing microorganisms, white blood cells. Those are the benefits. It can help the body, but they can be harmful because they actually do cause some damage to some of our cells, and specifically to LDL and the plaque and arteriosclerosis, which can lead to heart disease. So let me squeeze through these. I want to talk a little bit about the specific nutrients. Vitamin E, like I said, it's a fat-soluble vitamin, and it works as main focuses to donate electrons. And I think that's easy to remember because E for electron, so vitamin E is an antioxidant that donates electrons. And it is found in typically vegetable sources, vegetable oil sources, and plant oil sources. And it's interesting because the deficiency is actually rare because we do use a lot of plant oils in our diet, but most people are actually vitamin E deficient. Okay, the requirement's about 15 milligrams a day, and most Americans probably eat closer to 9 or 10. So again, where do we get that? It has to come from a plant source, and oils are particularly good sources. So salad oils, nuts and seeds, shortening, margarine. Unfortunately, those are high in trans fats, but the nuts and seeds and salad oil are good sources. This gives you an example. I think this is a little misleading because Total Raisin Bran is fortified with vitamin E. So natural sources here you see are those vegetable oils. Where do we find it on the My Plate? It's found in the grain group. It's found in the protein group in nuts and seeds, and some vegetables, particularly avocados, because they have a higher fat content, have a good amount of vitamin E. What happens if we get too much? Our body actually does not store vitamin E, so it is not a problem, but actually supplements are not recommended. You can see the upper limit of 1,000 milligrams is greatly more than that 15 milligram requirement. Let's move to vitamin C. Vitamin C functions in collagen formation and collagen synthesis, and some of you probably see this advertised quite a bit in skincare products. Collagen is the component of your skin that provides the structural strength, and many skincare products are fortified with vitamin C, although it is much more helpful for that to be internal. Carnitine synthesis is important. Vitamin C plays a role. Serotonin and norepinephrine synthesis. It also functions as an antioxidant. Think about when you put lemon juice on a freshly cut apple, you actually protect those cells from oxidation, and that oxidation is what causes that apple to get brown. So it gives you kind of a visual idea of that. Another great function of vitamin C is it actually helps increase iron absorption, especially when that iron is from non-animal products. And we do use a lot of vitamin C to keep our immune system healthy. We do know that the research says that vitamin C may not prevent the cold, but there's some research that shows that it may decrease the severity of the common cold. So let's look at what happens if you don't get enough. You can get a disease called scurvy, where you have some hemorrhaging of the skin, especially around the gums. A lot of people will have bleeding gums because of that. And if you look at what the adult RDA is, it's between 75 and 90 milligrams. Smokers actually need increased amounts of vitamin C, but the average consumption is right around that. 1 orange a day will give you satisfactory vitamin C for the day. Vitamin C is also a water-soluble vitamin, so excess is just excreted in the urine. The only difficulty is that some people with high levels around 2,500 milligrams a day report some gastrointestinal problems. And this gives you an idea of the vitamin C content of foods. And you can see it's quite easy with just 1 or a couple of servings of fruits and vegetables to get what you need. So again, most of our vitamin C comes from the fruit and vegetable group. Vitamin A, the retinoid function is the fat-soluble function. It functions in vision, acne control, and that's the role of vitamin A in the epithelial cells, which are the skin cells, growth, development, reproduction, and also as an antioxidant. The carotenoids are the water-soluble form, and they particularly have the strong antioxidant form, and they are actually what's called a precursor to vitamin A. So they actually aren't vitamin A, but in the body they can be made into vitamin A. What happens if you don't get enough vitamin A? You can be subject to night blindness. Your immune system can poorly function. You'll have insufficient mucus in the intestines and the lungs, which help protect from disease. Your cells aren't as healthy. Hyperkeratosis and stunted growth if it's deficient during childhood or pregnancy. This just gives you a little example of the importance in vitamin A's role in rhodopsin, which is the portion of the rods and cones of the eye that count for the ability to see at night. So the way that your body increases the amount of light that is let in through the eye. So those rhodopsin levels need the vitamin A to be working. We get the preformed or the active form of vitamin A, the fat-soluble form, in fat-soluble foods, things like liver and fish oils and milk and butter. And actually vitamin A is stored in the liver, so when you eat another animal's liver, you're eating their stored amount of vitamin A. But it's also found in water-soluble foods, things like spinach and sweet potatoes, and in this form it's called the pre-form of the pro-vitamin A, and it needs to be converted to the active form. So where do we get vitamin A? Well, we get the fat-soluble form from the dairy and the protein group, and the fruits and vegetables provide us the water-soluble form. Vitamin A can be toxic in excess. It can cause birth defects, liver toxicity, congenital defects in pregnancy. It is not recommended to take supplements of vitamin A. I'm going to skip through a few of these. This is an interesting note that high carotenoid concentration in the blood, meaning eating lots of carrots, can actually cause people's skin to get what's called hyperkeratonemia, where your skin is actually flushed a little orange. Phytochemicals, we did talk a little bit about these in chapter 1, and these are plant-based chemicals that are found to be health beneficial but not required as a part of the normal health. There's no deficiency disease if they're not present, so then they're not considered essential. The benefits, though, is that they have a lot of health promoting compounds. And many foods contain hundreds, if not thousands, of phytochemicals. Some of the ones, like I said, you may have heard of are lycopene, found in tomatoes, or anthocyanins, found in blueberries. We also will see resveratrol, which is found in grapes. Those are examples of phytochemicals. And phytochemicals also work as antioxidants by inhibiting the cellular and growth in cancer cells. There is a good discussion topic on phytochemicals this week if you'd like to look at that. Selenium is a trace mineral, and the reason that selenium functions as an antioxidant is it does help develop a hormone, an enzyme, glutathione peroxidase, that actually converts different peroxides into water, and that can be beneficial to keep the cells healthy, especially the membrane of the cells. And selenium is also really important in the activation of thyroid hormone. We see low blood levels of selenium. It's quite rare, but we do see a link to increased rates of prostate cancer with low levels of selenium levels. And typically the selenium in our bodies, we typically get enough because it's dependent upon the content of the soil where the plant or the animal food comes from. Nuts, fish, meat organs, eggs, those are all good sources. Here's some good examples of foods high in selenium. Selenium toxicity has not been reported from food sources, but over long periods of time, supplementation can cause some side effects. I'd like for you to read the Nutrition and Your Health, the dietary supplements, and this talks a little bit about the Dietary Supplementation and Health Education Act of 1994. And this is the act that said that supplements can be sold without a proof that they are safe or effective, and it takes the regulation from the FDA out of the dietary supplement industry. And I have a really big concern over this. It's very difficult in this country. There is no regulation over supplements, so you don't know that they're safe. You don't know that they contain what they say they contain, and you don't have to have proof that they are effective. So it's important to keep in mind that those supplements, as we discussed in the discussion last week, it shows the importance for the consumer to have the responsibility to make sure that the supplements that they're taking are safe. You can see the supplement industry is a huge industry financially, but there are some people that may need supplements. Postmenopausal women, calcium and vitamin D, there's even been some discussion that a lot of people living north of the 38th latitude, which is about where we are, need supplementation of vitamin D for their because of the lack of the sun in the winter. Adults over 50, women, children, pregnant women, people with low calorie intakes, strict vegans, these are all examples. So review that. I'm also going to put a funny little YouTube video up for you to review about the supplement industry. And if you have other questions, please let me know. And I hope you guys have a good week. Thank you so much.